Hi, welcome to another edition of the Alan Rosenberg Show. I thank you for your patience because I am about to review the latest Jethro Tull album, RokFlote. Of course, it's the follow-up to the Zelagene, and this is the fastest release that Jethro Tull has done in decades, back-to-back sister albums, so to speak, although they're very different. So I'm about to review it. I appreciate your patience, but I've listened to this album a lot, and that's what I needed to do to get a fair opinion on it. I think it's very different than the Zelagene. So if you remember, and I did a review, and there's a bunch of Jethro Tull videos that I have, I was a really big fan of the Zelagene. I really like that album. But to me, that was more of an Ian Anderson solo album. There is a difference, and if you watch the review of that album, I go into it. The RokFlote album, the new one, is very much a Jethro Tull album. This is truly a Jethro Tull album. So this is the deluxe edition, like you see on the Zelagene. 3 discs. You get the CD of the album, you get the CD of the demo versions, and then you get a Blu-ray of a myriad of different mixes and surround sound and Atmos and 5.1, which I listened to it in 5.1. And then this booklet goes into the history of the album, the theme. There's the current lineup. Jethro Tull R, Ian Anderson. Doesn't mention guitars on there, interestingly enough. David Goodyear, the bass player. John O'Hara on keyboard. Scott Hammond on drums. Joe Parrish James, who is the new lead guitarist, or new guitarist. He only was on, I think, 1 song on Zelagene. And then Uner Berner does the spoken vocals. I think it's Icelandic, Scandinavian language. Now, I have not read this book, and I did that purposely because I do not want to be influenced. I like my opinion to be based on my own ears, and then I'll go back and read it. I love the artwork. This actually has it embossed. You could feel it. I think the artwork is great. I wasn't thrilled with the artwork on the Zelagene, although I understand why he did it, because it was part of the theme. So basically, RokFlote is, you got these songs on there, and basically it's about Scandinavian, Norwegian, Viking-type gods, and each song is, I guess, about a different god. Personally, that doesn't really interest me as much. I'm not the kind of person that sits there and read the lyrics. I'm more of a song guy and the melody, and do the songs hit me. And this album, I've been having a tough time thinking about how I'm going to do the review. So I think I'm going to start by just going through the songs, and you're going to catch, I think, a theme of what I'm hearing and what I like about the album, and perhaps what I don't like so much about the album. So it opens up with this thing called Voluspo, and I love how it opens. It's got this creepy, intro, background effects, kind of creepy. And this Uner Birna does a vocal in this Icelandic, Scandinavian type language. And it's very unsettling, and I like that. It's a cool beginning. And then what happens is you get into this, like a minute into it, you get into the overall, what I find, running texture of this album. It is really flute heavy this album. RokFlote is the perfect name for it, and I'm thrilled with that. Ian Anderson, every song is overloaded with beautiful melodies led by the flute. And it's amazing. I absolutely love the melodies, and I love the flute. And like I said, it's very Jethro Tullish. The guitar player does a tremendous job. He does these great leads. They're lyrical. They're powerful. I don't want to get into the whole Martin Barr thing, but you don't miss him. It would be nice if he was on there sentimental-wise. But from guitar standpoint, you listening to guitar work is fabulous. They sound like a band. And in fact, if you can compare the demos to what the band did, it's definitely a band-oriented album. So the guitar work is great. So this song opens up with like this beautiful flute melody. You get a really good bass sound. The bass sound on this album is thick, and I like that. It's melodic, and it's thick, and it fills out the sound. And the guitar work, which is very heavy on the electric guitar as opposed to acoustic-oriented, you get throughout all these songs. It's this crunchy guitar riff, and they play back and forth with the flute, melodic-wise. It's absolutely awesome. They do counterpoint. They play off each other. At the end of this opening track, Voluspo, they play off each other, the flute and the guitar, and they harmonize together, and it's great. But in the middle, you get the song, and the song has like Ian Anderson speaking the lyrics, which is fine, not getting into the whole voice thing. That's ancient history, and he does as good as he can do, and it's fine on the album. I'm not distracted by his voice. But the structure of the songs when the lyrics kick in, to me, almost take away. But the first one is fine. The second one, Gnana Gabap, I don't know, however you pronounce that. Same kind of thing. It opens up with the flute melody that's gorgeous, gorgeous and melodic, and it grabs you. And then the crunchy electric guitar comes chugging into there, and you get the bass again, and it's awesome. And then the song comes in, it kind of speaks the lyrics, and it's good. It's definitely good. And then it goes back into the music where the flute melody comes back in with the crunchy guitar. And again, they play in harmony and they play off each other. The drums kick in. There's a couple of good drum licks there. In fact, the flute lick on this is amazing. It's really difficult. It's fast. And then the second time around, the guitar matches it and they play it together in harmony. It's awesome. So great track, great musicianship. The song is good. The third song, All Father. Here's the pattern again. Comes in. It's a very joyous, happy kind of flute melody. And then it goes right into the song, All Father, ba-da-da-da, Go All Father. It's okay. It goes into a completely different kind of a flute melody with a second set of lyrics, because the original set of lyrics are kind of Norwegian or Scandinavian, and then it goes into modern type lyrics. And then the electric guitar comes in, really beautiful electric guitar solo with more flute. And then it goes away. So the music is great. The instrumental music is great. The song part, where you start singing All Father, to me, is just okay. Feathered Consort, that's the next song. Same pattern. Opens up with this gorgeous flute melody. Absolutely great. The band is playing along to it this time. There's a nice keyboard sound. They create like a good bedrock of sound on the keyboards. It fills up. It's a good, wholesome kind of sound there on this. Then all of a sudden, the lyrics are coming in. The song completely changes track. Different drum patterns, very difficult drum patterns. The playing is good. It's almost like military type drumming. And I think, to me, the song gets kind of messy, this Feathered Consort. The song itself, it's progressive, but it's kind of messy. And then it goes back into the opening melody, which is absolutely gorgeous with the band. You getting my pattern here? You have these amazingly gorgeous openings, beautiful flute work. The guitar work is great. The band sounds really good. And then it's almost, to me, like he forced writing songs. He had to put lyrics in and change up the song. And the songs are just kind of average in most cases. And then it goes back into the original melody, which is just beautiful. And that's my rub on this whole album. But let's keep going. Hammer on Hammer, well, you saw the video of that. I like it. It opens up with the acoustic guitar, because this is very much an electric album. Acoustic with flute. Builds nicely. The electric guitar solo comes in, is really tasty. I like the drums. They kind of propel the song. The music is excellent. Nice keyboard in the background. That's a good track. I don't think it's a great track. It's not a classic type Tull classic that I'm going to go humming around and want to keep playing, but it's a good track. You get Wolf Unchained. That's a cool opening. Opens up with the wolf call, or ends with the wolf call as well. I like the effect of that. It's really cool. It's the most rockin' song on the album. It's almost like a straight rock and roll song. The other ones are these beautiful melodies. The Wolf Unchained is very much a rock song with this chugging guitar riff. Great flute leads, great guitar soloing, and they weave beautifully. You get the flute and the electric guitar. This guy's a great guitar player, and they play so well together. They just weave together. That's a great track, Wolf Unchained. The Perfect One comes next. Again, another opening with acoustic, beautiful flute, but it's very brief, and it's great. And then it goes into a song that I find, again, a very average song, because he had to put lyrics in, continue with the theme of the album, and I keep feeling like, why? Musically, instrumentally, this album's fantastic, but it goes into these songs that are just kind of okay, and then it goes back into the lyrical melodies, which ends it on a high note. Trickster and the Mistletoe kind of sounds like what it is. Mistletoe, almost Christmassy like. If you know Blackmore's Night, to me that's a Blackmore's Night track. It's good. It's kind of that Renaissance fair kind of a thing. It's fine. It's kind of proggy, but it's kind of an average song, I think. Then you get Cornucopia, which is by far the most beautiful, prettiest melody on the album. It's haunting, and it really sticks to you. It is a magnificent melody. Call me crazy, but when I'm listening to it, I kind of hear a little bit of Reasons for Waiting from Stand Up. I don't know. Maybe I'm hallucinating, but I kind of hear a bit of that. But it's the prettiest melody on the album. I wish the whole song was that, but instead what happens goes into the song part with the lyrics, and it's a very average song. Then it goes back into the melody. In there is buried this incredible instrumentals track that I think is taken away a little bit by the song. Navigators, they did a video on that one. I just thought it was okay. It's a song-based track, average. Guardians Watch. Again, nice flute opening, but then the song gets kind of messy. It's got different themes. There's a keyboard in the background, which is kind of good. But again, my overall feeling is it's taking bits and pieces and putting it together, creating this average song where the bits and pieces oftentimes are really great, like great instrumental flute stuff, great melodies, great crunchy electric guitar in that, as well as through the whole album. But as an overall song, kind of average. And then Ithaval is the ending. Again, the flute and the guitar comes in, another beautiful melody, and you get that singer doing the as Icelandic, I guess it is, Norwegian dialogue. What's her name again? There she is, Uma Berna. And then Ian Anderson comes in, does his singing at the end, and then it ends with the creepy, haunting background noise, sound effects. And if you play it on repeat, which I did, it goes right back into song number one. It's a bookend. Like the album ends, goes right into the beginning, and it's seamless because it's the same effect. It's a nice way to end the album. I understand the theme. He wanted to do a thematic album. I'm not the kind of person. I mean, now I'll look at the lyrics and the commentary. I know the Blu-ray has like an hour interview with Ian, and I don't know what he's going to say, but I'm going to watch it. But what's nagging me about this album, and I really want to know your opinion, you're going to think I'm crazy, but if this was an instrumental album of just these beautiful melodies, I think it would be one of the greatest Jethro Tull albums of all time. I'm not kidding. He has come up, every song virtually is a magnificent flute melody. The guitar work is great. The drum work is better. I still think it's not up to the level of previous Tull drummers like Barry Morballo and Clyde Bunker and Dewan Perry and who else, Mark Craney. These incredible drummers. This guy may be as good. He may be better. But the drums are still kind of low-key, but they're better than they were on the Zealotine. This is more Tull-like. The guitar work is sterling. The guy's fantastic, and he's really young. I mean, all the other guys are around the same age. This guy's like born in the 90s, I think he was. Terrific player. Picking up right where Florian Opali, who was a previous young guitar player, left off. So musically, when I'm listening to this album, I'm always distracted. I'm like, man, I just wish they would stay with those instrumental melodies. So there you go. There's my review of RokFlote. If you get the deluxe edition, also the demos, that demo disc is really interesting because I'm always thinking, and it was on this, that the demos are going to be Ian Anderson on an acoustic guitar, just singing. And the demos are all electric guitar, which is Ian Anderson playing on the electric guitar, which is really unusual because this is a very chunky guitar-sounding album, electric guitar. So clearly that's what Ian was reaching for by even the demos are with him with the electric, which is interesting. So overall, I really like the album. I'm not getting down on it. It could have been incredible as an instrumental album, and I would have to have heard that. I think overall, believe it or not, song-wise, I think a lot of the songs are stronger on the Zealotine. But the melodies and the flute playing is unbelievable, and that's far superior on here. In fact, it's the most beautiful flute work maybe on any Jethro Tull album. It's loaded with flute. So I have a mixed feeling with this review, and I want to know what you think. If I was going to, the way I review things, 1 star is terrible, little redeeming value. 5 stars would be like a perfect classic album. I'd probably give this like 3.5 stars, which is pretty much what I would have given the Zealot Gene as well. So they're different. They're sister albums, but they're kind of different. They're both worth having in their own way. That's it. I hope you enjoyed my review. I appreciate your patience. I'm never going to be the first one on the block to review an album because I want to soak it in. I need to soak the album in. You probably have had this experience. I've heard albums the first time, loved it, and then I listened over and over again. I'm like, it's really not as good as I thought. And then I've had albums where the first time I heard it, I'm like, this is not for me. And I keep playing it, and it grows on me, and it becomes like my favorite album of the year. So I need to absorb it. Never understood these people who listen to an album once and they review it. It's worthless to me. So that's my delay. I hope you appreciate that. Thank you for watching my channel. Stay safe, stay healthy, and let me know what you think, because this is an unusual review for an album that I just totally can't get my head around, but I think I got my head around it. This is how I feel. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time on the Alan Rosenberg Show.